I'm thinking you were made for me. Isn't it my birthday yet? Cause I gotta say, you're looking like a gift for me. Wrapped up nice and neat, baby. Get in my way now, don't be shy. We'll be here dancing day and night.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, thanks so much for joining. My name is Misty, and if you want to be part of the Raven family, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are able to get notifications when things go live on the channel. Today I am bringing you another episode of our Crybaby Whims, and as you can see, we are just here with Cassiopeia, and she is grabbing herself something to eat. And Landon, as you can see, is very angry. He is just not in a good mood. We are just trying to get the kids headed off to school, and once the kids are headed off to school, we are going to get Mr. Tevin working on some homework because he has just aged up to a teenager, so he doesn't have school today. So we will work on getting his homework done, and we are going to get Cassiopeia to invite over Zeke because she has some very big news that she needs to share with him, as we learned in the last episode. So she's going to need to let him know that she is indeed expecting. But first, she's just going to go ahead and fix up this toilet that is sprung a leak and is drowning the bathroom. So she is being a little productive this morning, as you can see, or well, afternoon, I suppose. And then she's going to invite Zeke over and just tell him, look, I've got a little bit of news that we need to discuss, and it's pretty much, I guess a surprise, unexpected, maybe not so unexpected. I mean, technically we totally, had a woohoo, and neither one of us in the heat of the moment thought about protection, so we kind of knew this was a possibility. But yep, it is certain that we are totally having a baby. So she has called Zeke over, and he's like, yeah, honey, I'll be right around. Don't worry about it. So he is going to come on over. And she's like, okay, great. She clearly is having some morning sickness, which we know about Cassiopeia. She does not handle the pregnancies well, and she typically does get quite sick when she is pregnant. So, yay for us. Yay for Cassiopeia. But she is just going to go over here and tell him the great news so we can find out what he thinks. Oh my goodness, she's so big she is busting out of these pants. Girl, I don't know why you're so big. You aren't even in your second trimester yet, I don't think. I don't know, we'll have to look and see. But she is like, hi honey, and he's like, hey babe, and he's like, wow, you've gotten really big. And she's like, that's not funny, Zeke. I have some news. So I'm expecting. And he's like, you're what? And she's like, yeah, we're having a baby. And he's like, oh, thank God. I just thought you were really fat. And she's like, that's not funny. And he's like, no, but it's good news that, there's a reason that you just ballooned up overnight. Because, honey, I was worried about you. I thought maybe we should take you to the hospital because I thought something was wrong. But you expecting is great news. And she's like, I know that you're trying to be comforting right now, but it's not working. And he's like, honey, I'm thrilled about the fact that we're having a baby. Honestly, thrilled. I think this is great news. And so as you can see, she's feeling a close connection from him being nearby, and they're happy parents. Cassiopeia's partner was delighted to hear about the pregnancy, completely overjoyed. This child will bring them both so much happiness, and she is daydreaming about it already. So they are both thrilled about this news, which we absolutely love, and I kind of figured that they would both be happy about this news because when we had asked him about the fact that there was a possibility the two of them could possibly end up pregnant, he was like, let's have twins. Let's have triplets. And she's like, whoa there, stallion, let's hold down that, okay? We don't need no twins and triplets.
Nope.
And dear God, she is big, so I hope that isn't the case. But let's hope there's only one baby in there and not twins or triplets. But the fact of the matter is, it's nice that, he is on board with this pregnancy, and that now they're just discussing, obviously, the relationship moving forward. And she's like, well, clearly, now that we're having a baby, we should probably discuss, us moving forward. And he's like, what do you mean us moving forward? We're moving forward. Like, we're in a relationship. We're going to be in a relationship. And she's like, I know, but honey, like, okay. I feel like I'm old enough now that I should be allowed to go anywhere I want and do whatever I want. Can you treat me like an adult, please? Okay, first of all, you're always going to be my baby. And second of all, you're about to pee yourself right now. You can't even go to the bathroom by yourself without being told. So no, sir, that is not happening. Please go to the washroom. So anyhow, she's going to go back out here and she's going to talk to Zeke some more, because she's just going to be like, I understand that, she needs to tell him, like, where are you going, Cassiopeia? I really do want you to go talk to Zeke. She's like, I want to punch on this punching bag because I'm super energized and I need to work out some of this energetic energy that I have. Yeah, that's awesome, but we really do need to talk about the fact that you are married and you are now in a relationship with Zeke and having his baby. That's something you guys need to talk about. And she's like, do we though? Do we really? Because, whatever. Yeah, we do. Because honestly, I think that at this point in our relationship, it is a good time for Zeke to move in. Zeke needs to be here so that he can be here for the baby, and he needs to be here so that he can be here for Cassiopeia. So we are going to have her come out and just be like, look, I realize that I'm married. I realize that it's a really awkward situation, but look, me and Elias aren't getting back together. Like, he's already moved on. I think you and I should move in together. And so they are going to move in together so that they can raise their baby together as a couple. And so he is, as you can see, moving in with us here. So Zeke is moving in, and she's like, well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. And he's like, I told you I'm in this relationship with you, and it is a committed relationship. I understand that you are in the relationship with Elias that you're in, and I understand that everything's going on with you guys the way it's going, and if I have to wait for a little while, then I have to wait for a little while for us to be able to make our relationship a little bit more official. But he wants to like fitness. Great. We love it. He's like, but honestly, like, I'm willing to wait. And she's like, oh, how did I look out with you the way that I did? And he's like, Cassiopeia, honey, I love you. I'm not going anywhere. And she's like, oh, Zeke, I love you so much. I really do. She's like, I'm so sorry that you're in the situation that you're in with me, but I really am thankful that you're willing to stick it out with me. And he's like, of course. So, as you can see, she is just grabbing herself something to eat here because she is hungry. He is working on fixing the computer, but in her mind, nagging her and kind of bothering her is the fact that, there is that kind of in the back of her mind, that whole thing about Elias. And she's like, not really sure. Look, she's even feeling paranoid about it. She's like, oh my God. Like, he doesn't know that she's expecting. He has no idea what's going on. They haven't really had any more conversations since the last time that they had the blow up when he neglected the kids, when the kids went over to visit. And she's like, I'm going to have a conversation with Elias. Like, we need to talk. He needs to know about this baby. He needs to know that I'm in a relationship. Like, the right thing to do is to at least talk to him and find out kind of what's going on. Like, she knows he's in a relationship with Liberty, but he doesn't know anything about Zeke. And so she kind of feels like she needs to talk to Elias, and she just kind of needs to be on the up and up with him about all of the information of what's going on in her life. And they need to have an adult conversation about what's going on moving forward. Like, in her mind, that relationship is completely over. They just haven't divorced yet. And Elias, I think, is probably of the same mind, but it's not been made official. But she still feels like they need to have that conversation. So she's been mulling that over in her head, and she's like, I really do need to make time to, at least call him or go over and maybe see him or something like that at some point. And so she is really pondering through all of this information and trying to figure out, how should I approach that? And true to form, she is out here in the garage working out her feelings. You know, that is how Cassiopeia processes how she's feeling. And she is taking to the punching bag. She likes to work out. When she can't figure out a problem, this is what she does. And Zeke is like, honey, are you okay? And she's like, yes, dear, I'm fine. I'm just trying to think. And he's like, okay, want to maybe talk it out? And she's like, we can talk. And he's like, okay, well, what's bothering you? And she's like, I think I need to go see Elias. And he's like, why in dear God's name would you ever want to do that? And she's like, I think I need to tell him about the baby. I think I need to tell him about you. And he's like, okay, if you think you need to. And she's thinking, I really think I need to. I don't think it really matters. And he's like, well, then why go? And she's like, I think as a common courtesy, I just maybe should, like, just tell him that I'm expecting a baby and that I'm with you and just let him know. And I don't know. I mean, technically, he and I are married, and I should just let him know what's going on and just find out, like, what he wants to do about his kids and moving forward. And just find out, like, are we getting any closer to just this divorce thing? Like, I mean, he and I aren't getting back together, so what's the holdup, you know? I mean, he's with Liberty, and, I mean, I know they're still together and they're living together now, so, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like if he's living with her and I'm living with you and we're having a baby, like, what is it that's stopping this whole thing? Like, you and I are having a child together, and I'm so happy about this pregnancy. I'm so happy to be with you, and I'm in love with you, and he just needs to know that I've moved on. I know he's moved on. And Zeke's like, well, honey, if that's how you feel, then maybe you should go talk to him. Clearly it's you know, very important to you. And she's like, it is important to me. It's important to me that he knows how I feel about you, and I think I'm going to have to talk to him. And he's like, well, then you definitely should. So she feels much better now that she's punched it out and she's talked it through with Zeke. And so she's like, that is it. That is exactly what I'm going to have to do. I am going to make a plan, and I'm going to give Elias a call when I get a chance, and it's, you know, not a crazy, you know, in the middle of the night hour, and I will make a plan to go over and visit. And Zeke's like, okay, that sounds like a good plan. But in the meantime, everyone needs to go ahead and get themselves into bed because it is about 1 o'clock in the morning, so everyone's going to head off to bed, and then I will see you guys in the morning. Okay, it is about 4:30 in the morning, and as you can see, Cassiopeia is up, as is Carina. They are just having a little bit of something to eat here. There are a couple of people in the house that are up, and they are just helping themselves to figuring out their needs here. And as you can see, Cassiopeia's needs are pretty bad. She is actually not really all that happy that she's up this early, but she was hungry, and so she needed to help herself with that. She is craving healthy foods, but instead she opted for some shrimp skewers, and so we'll have to maybe get her some things in the healthy food variety options in her belly at some point. She is just changing the passwords on her computer because, as we know, she is a paranoid queen, and that is what she does. But Zeke has come down, and he's like, are you feeling any better today? And she's like, no, not really. But I think I'm going to give Elias a call at some point today, and I'm going to go ahead and go over and visit with him. And I think that'll make me feel better. And he's like, okay, honey, that sounds like a good plan. And she's like, so while you are at work and the kids are at school, I'm going to go ahead and go and have a talk with him today. That's pretty much what's on my agenda for the day. And he's like, okay, well, that sounds like a good plan. And she's like, yeah, it sounds like a good plan in theory, but it's probably not going to go over well. And he's like, well, do you want to hear a joke? And she's like, sure. I love hearing your jokes. And he's like, okay. So he's going to tell her a knock-knock joke and try to make her laugh. And she's like, oh, Zeke, you're so funny. And she's like, you know, I don't know if this is going to go over well or not. So she's going to watch a little bit of television, it looks like, in the floor, which is really, really strange. But they are just, you know, the flirtiest and most lovable couple I think I've seen in a very long time. I absolutely love seeing them together. So they are just gonna flirt. He is feeling some sad feelings because he is picking up on kind of some of her feelings of how she is feeling right now, and he is a person that really can empathize with others' feelings, and so because of that close connection they have, whenever she's feeling off, he kind of feels those feelings as well, and so some of that's rubbing off on him a little bit, but he has seemed to change her mood a little bit and get her feeling a little bit better, and he's like, oh, well, I would really like to woohoo with her. So let's see if we can get them to go ahead and do a little bit of a woohoo. He is wanting to woohoo with her. So let's go ahead and let them have a little bit of fun this morning, because that is something that he is wanting to do, and I think that it will make both of them feel a little bit better. And so, you know, why not? So they're going to go and have themselves a little bit of a woohoo here. He has told her how much he loves her this morning, and she is feeling very much loved and very, you know, oh yeah. So she said, feeling loved is wonderful, and she's so in love. So he's come up here and he's just like, Cassiopeia, I think that pregnancy glow on you is so beautiful. I just can't keep my hands off of you. And she's like, Zeke, and he's like, I know, but the kids are all downstairs, so let's go have a little bit of bedroom fun. And she's like, oh my goodness, okay. So they're gonna come in here and they're gonna have themselves a quick little woohoo and get that, you know, those brand new, we just moved in together feelings out of the way. So they are, for the first time as a couple living together, consummating this bed together, as a couple that actually are like actually together, not sneaking around and whatever. They actually are in a relationship, in a home, living together, and are in very much in a madly in love situation and having a baby together, and they are very smitten with one another. Oh, they're so sweet. All right. And he is feeling very flirty now. My goodness. So he's wanting to give her a kiss. So we will go ahead and queue up for him to come over here and give her a kiss. He really wants to convince her to leave her spouse, but it is not time for her to be able to do that. She's not quite yet an adult. And I know that if I were to click that, it is just going to make her leave him immediately, and we can't do that just quite yet based on the challenge rules. So I'm just not going to be able to do that. I know Cassiopeia seriously wants to be engaged to him. Like, that is one of her whims. It has been one of her whims for quite some time, but it's just not the right timing yet. So they're just going to have to wait. Oh my goodness, Carina, I am so sorry that you feel like you can't unsee what you just saw, and you totally just violated Landon's privacy. But all of the children are heading off to school, and Zeke is just about to head off to work here, and then Cassiopeia is just going to clean up a little bit around the house, and then she is going to go ahead and make her plans for the day. And these two are so sweet together. She's like, honey, I've got to go to the washroom. She's like, between this UTI and this baby sitting on my bladder, I just can't stay out of the loo. And he's like, that's fine, dear. So she's just going to clean up this mess that Landon made, and then she is going to head herself to the washroom. And Zeke is, like I said, going to go ahead and get himself ready for work. All of the children are at school, and they are just going to listen to the teacher so that they can get their grades up, which we love. We love a bunch of studious children. So she's just going to do a quick clean here, and then she will go ahead and relieve herself so that she doesn't have an accident. That was in just the nick of time, too. And he's just going to have himself a quick bite to eat, and then he will head off to work. Davis is sitting next to a kid at lunch when he spies something pink in his lunch bag. Is that a bib? The kid smiles nervously and claims that he got his baby sister's lunch again. Then the bib falls out where everyone can see. Pick it up or leave it. So he picked it up, But then the bully saw it, and the new kid didn't help. So I think Davis is now going to get bullied, which sucks. So Cassiopeia is just having a little bit of something to eat here. And as you can see, she is getting her hunger up, which we love. But she is feeling like she needs to go ahead and give Elias a call. And as you can see in her moodlets there, she is feeling very irritable, and she's like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like, I really just need to know. And it says here she has an uncertain future. So what does it say? Cassiopeia is concerned about her romantic relationship at the moment. Will they get back together or split forever? What should she do? So she is thinking about Elias. She's thinking like, we're not getting back together. We're going to split. I know that we're going to split. Like, they're both moved on. So they're just hanging on, but they don't really, she doesn't know what they're hanging on for. And so everything's uncertain. She's not sure what she's supposed to be doing. She's tense because of it. She's irritable because of it. So she's going to go ahead and give Elias a phone call. And she's just like, hey, Elias, I've got some things that I'd really like to talk to you about. Is it okay if maybe I come by? I would like, to sit down and us maybe have a conversation. Yeah, I know. Yes, I understand that it's 11:39 in the morning. Yes, but it's serious. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So she is going to go ahead and head over to Elias's house. And she is going to see him. So we are going to travel over to Elias's. So we have made it to Elias's house, and they are going to have a conversation face to face about what's going on, because she needs to have this conversation with Elias to find out kind of what's going on with him. And as you can see here, Elias is now living with Liberty Lee. He has moved her in. They are in a relationship together, and they live together. And if you notice her coming down the stairs, guys, she is also expecting. So they have moved on as well. She's not as big as Cassiopeia, mind you, but she's still expecting. And she's like, hey, how are you? I just saw Liberty, and it looks like you guys are expecting a baby. And he's like, yeah, we are. And she's like, okay, well, then I guess it's not going to be a huge big deal then that I'm expecting a baby. And he's like, And she's like, well, let's go ahead and discuss what we're going to be doing with the kids. And he's like, well, the kids live with you. He's like, they can visit whenever they want to visit. Like, it is what it is. Like, this relationship is what it is. What's done is done, Cassiopeia. And she's like, okay, well, like, shouldn't we discuss, what we're doing moving forward? Like, you've moved on and you're with Liberty Lee, and, I don't understand what we're doing here. Like, are we just going to stay separated temporarily for forever? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to want to, look at him yell. He's like, it looks to me like you've moved on as well. You're pregnant. Who are you? Do you even know who the baby is this time? And she's like, how dare you talk to me that way, Elias? Of course I know who the father of the baby is. And he's like, oh. And she's like, I came over here to discuss the children with you and what we're doing. I didn't come over here to argue with you, but since you are, whatever, like, ugh, I get so mad at you, Elias. And she's like smashed his stuff. Okay, Cassiopeia, I understand that you're mad. I understand you're enraged even, but you need to go back inside. You need to go inside and you need to talk to Elias, and you guys need to figure out whatever. So honestly, it won't let me have Zeke do anything about the baby related, because she is in a relationship with Elias. I can only do baby related stuff with Elias. So because of that, I have to make Elias go and take a paternity test. So we will be having Elias go and have a paternity test. So she's going to go upstairs and she's going to tell him, look, I need you to go with me and to take a paternity test. And he's like, why do you need me to do that? It's not my baby. And she's like, I understand that, but that's why I need you to do a paternity test to prove that it's not your baby, because in the eyes of the law, we're married, and that's because you're dragging on this separation, even though you are, shacked up with Liberty, and you guys are, also expecting a baby. Isn't she going to want you guys to be in a relationship and maybe married one day? And he's like, we haven't really discussed that far. Their level of reconciliation is 10%, guys. So the fact of them ever reconciling at this point is like so low. But she's going to be like, you're the reason that this relationship isn't working. Like, look at like, you're already in another relationship. You were already in another relationship long before I met Zeke. This was you telling me, oh, we're just going to temporarily separate, and then you instantly went and got into a relationship. She's like, and now you guys are having a baby. Well, I ended up finding somebody, and I have fallen in love, and yeah, I'm having a baby now. So whatever, I made mistakes and I screwed up, but then you said the things that you said to me. You renounced my child and, said you would never accept my baby, and then we separated, and then you instantly hooked up with some girl. So they're rehashing old arguments. They're fighting, they're carrying on, and she's like, we're getting nowhere arguing like this. Look, the damage is done here, Elias. You and I know that this relationship is over with, so what are we doing here? What are we doing? You've moved on. You're in love with Liberty. You're having a baby. I've moved on. I'm in love with Zeke. I'm having a baby. We are not together, but at the end of the day, I need you to do a paternity test. So let's go. Let's do a paternity test. Let's prove that you're not the father for the courts, and just be done with it. And he's like, I can't believe that I have to do this all over again. That I have to prove that I'm once again not the father of another one of your kids. This is ridiculous. And she's like, yeah, well, if you had divorced me long ago when you decided to shack up with Liberty, this probably wouldn't be an issue, but because we're still together, it is an issue. And I don't even know, like, how much longer are we going to just remain married and just put our lives on hold? I'm not saying that, I don't know what to tell you, Elias. I really don't. And he's like, I don't know, but the damage between us is definitely done, don't you think? And she's like, well, I'd say it probably is, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I think so too. So they're headed off to go do a paternity test right now. And as you can see, both of them are clearly and sufficiently enraged. They are stomping off. So they're now getting the paternity test done. The paternity results are that this Sim is definitely not the father of Cassiopeia's baby, which we knew. There was no doubt about that in our mind. But she is going to tell him, like, you need to figure out what it is that you want, Elias. You need to figure out what it is that, you're doing. Because you're not seeing your kids. You've stopped paying child support. You're having another baby. You're mad because I'm pregnant right now, but you're having another baby. Like, you are mad because I'm doing the same things you're doing, but yet you're not letting anyone move on, but yet you're moving on. That doesn't make any sense. You can't do what you want to do, but then be mad when I do the same things and just be like, oh, well, whatever. You are making the same life choices that I'm making, but you're mad that I'm doing it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's not how this works. Look, at the end of the day, you're in love with someone else. I also am in love with someone else. So she's chewing him out, and he's like, there's no need for pointing out any of this stuff. What's done is clearly done. So he's telling her, like, this relationship really is over, okay? It's over. Which we knew. She is so enraged right now. So enraged right now with him. She's so mad. She's going to tell him, though, like, look, it's not them. Cassiopeia's partner is distraught to learn that they were not the father of the child. Whether that's what Cassiopeia wanted or not, there's nothing to do about this anymore but to accept it. They're not the father, and now everyone knows it. Well, everyone knew it anyway. You guys have been separated for forever now. Like, it is what it is. So she's storming off, but now she's come back and she's like, look, okay, let's try this again, Elias. I just want to tell you, look, I am in love with someone else. Okay? I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just trying to tell you that I'm in love with someone else. And he's like, okay. That's fine, Cassiopeia. It really is. Because honestly, I'm in love with someone else too. Okay, well, I want to discuss the kids. And he's like, as far as I'm concerned with the kids are getting older. The kids live with you. They don't want to have anything to do with me. And she's like, no, they don't want to have anything to do with you because you chose someone else over them. And now you've replaced them with this other baby. And you don't even pay child support. You never call. You don't come see them. Like, Elias, if you want to have a relationship with your kids, you have to try harder. And he's like, very good. And she's like, okay, well, all right. You just need to, like, Elias, I really think you need to grow up. This discussion sounded more like Cassiopeia's partner making veiled accusations than a true, humble, open-hearted talk. Well, there you go. So she thinks he needs to grow up. And I would tend to agree. And so, unfortunately, Elias is just not getting it. Like, he's moved on. He knows she's moved on. He's saying it's over, but she is still his, and he's not letting her go for whatever reason. He's not saying, like, he's going to divorce her. He's not saying, it's over, like, we're going to make this permanent. He's just holding on for whatever reason. It's almost like he doesn't want her, but he doesn't want anyone else to have her, so he's not going to make things permanent yet. And she's about fed up with that nonsense. Like, she is really sick of it. She's really sick of Elias and the nonsense. But right now, she's not an adult yet, so she can't take that, she can't really put the ball in her court and be like, I'm divorcing you. So there's nothing really right now that she can do. So we are just kind of stuck here in limbo, and she's like, well, whatever. I'm mad about it. I'm mad about how this all turned out. But I am at least glad to know that, I had this conversation and at least he knows, and I've done what I said I was going to do, which was tell him. And so she did what she said she was going to do. And so now Cassiopeia, of course, as you can see, is back home. She is just cooking, and oh my God. Can you see Carina right now in the corner of the screen, guys? Do you see her face? She is higher than a kite. I mean, just look at her eyeballs. Oh my God. Just for a second. She is stoned. She is high on sour diesel. Carina! Every time I turn around, this girl is stoned. She's constantly getting drugs from school and getting high at school. I can't win. I can't win with this girl. Oh. Cassiopeia, what are you going to do about that child of yours? Every time I turn around, she's high. And when she comes to dinner, you're going to figure it out, I'm sure. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, freaking out over the fact that she's high. Go ahead and invite everyone to supper, and we'll have a meal together as a family. And then you can obviously lose your shit on Carina because she's stoned again for the gazillionth time. Bloody hell. Carina, what are you like? You little badass child. Okay, so everyone is coming to sit down and have supper. As you can see, everyone's just grabbing themselves a plate. And she's like, are you wasted? Seriously, you are in so much trouble. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I told you. I called that shit. I knew it was going to. I knew that was going to happen. And instantly all of her things that like are about family, like kids are great. Kids are my whole life. Yay. All that stuff's going down really, really fast because Carina's pissed her the hell off. Yeah. Good job, Carina. Way to piss Mom off. She is so mad at you right now. You're going to make her all depressed because you are constantly getting high. What the hell? So now she's going to have a lovely little chat with her daughter. Talking about some, why are you constantly getting stoned, kid? Don't you know drugs are bad? And they're bad for you, and they're like going to stunt your everything? Like, we shouldn't be even having to have this conversation. You're smarter than that. But no, here you are every single day coming home from school stoned, or coming home from school with drugs in your pocket, or whatever. No, we shouldn't even have to be having this conversation. Here we are, and she's going to piss herself because she's all, like, jigged out over this. Go ahead and go to the bathroom, Cassiopeia. Meanwhile, Zeke's in a completely other room. He's like, I'm not even getting in the middle of this. I'm totally going to let you handle that, honey. No, I'm just kidding. He's having a bath. So, anyhow, Carina, are you going to eat? Oh, she's like, yeah, I'm going to eat. I got the munchies. Of course you're going to eat. Badass little kid. You're not even acting like, well, yeah, sure you are. Of course you're acting like a teenager, experimenting on everything. Jesus. Alright. Anyhow, so their little friend from school is going to go ahead and go home, and so that's just peachy keen, and she is just cleaning up after herself, and then what do we need? Her needs are stellar. We freaking love that. It's pretty good considering you are about to pop, it looks like. And Tevin, if you don't mind, could you just clean that sink up because it's freaking disgusting. And then, I don't know, I think I'm going to have to get you to have a talk with your daughter. No, as a matter of fact, Grandma's come over and she is giving her hell. She's like, yeah, guess who told me you're into drugs, young lady? That's right, your mom and I had a conversation. She told me you've been experimenting with drugs. We don't do that kind of behavior. I thought you were smarter than that. And here you are messing with drugs. I cannot even believe it, Carina. I am so disappointed. And Karina's like, Grandma, you don't know everything. You know, it's hard being a kid. And she's like, I know that you're a druggie. I know that you are messing around with the wrong crowd. And we don't act like that in this family. And she's like, you don't know everything. And so her and her grandma here are button heads, and they are clearly going at it. They are fighting. And she is yelling at her grandma and disrespecting her and acting all tough and big and bad. And she's like, listen here, young lady, you aren't going to talk to me like that. I don't know who the hell you think you are, but clearly you've been hanging around with the wrong crowd. If they've been making you think that you can talk to your elders like that, you better have a little bit of respect. You're not going to talk to me like you've been talking to your mom or anyone else. I don't know who you think you are. And she's like, you don't mean anything to me. You don't even come around anymore. You went and got old, and now you think that you can just come over here and tell me that you don't like me and you don't like my behaviors, and you know, think that I'm a stupid person. But I'm not a stupid person. I'm a teenager. Teenagers do things like this. Teenagers like to experiment. That doesn't make me stupid. It just means that I'm a teenager, Grandma, and whatever. If you don't like the things that I'm doing, then you don't have to come around. We don't see you over here anyway. So if you don't like it, then you can just bugger off. And at the, you know, whatever. It doesn't even matter. I hate you anyway. I hate you for never coming around anymore. First, Dad goes away and never comes around. Then you go away and never come around. And whatever. I don't even care. I don't even care about anyone, okay? I don't even care about anyone anymore because no one ever comes around anymore. So, Carina is clearly going through some things. She is clearly been bottling up some feelings that she has not been processing, and she is turning to a bad crowd, and she is turning to drugs, and her grandma is getting the brunt of it because she's high and she is speaking out, and just, well, at the end of the day, if we think about it, Carina is also mean and evil. So she doesn't care if she hurts people's feelings. She's going to say it like it is. And so she is just telling her off. And meanwhile, you know, Cassiopeia has just walked into the tail end of this conversation, and she is like, you two, I cannot believe that this conversation is actually happening. Hi, Mom. I'm so sorry that she's talking to you like that. Carina, how dare you talk to your grandmother like that? I think that you two need to make up. You two are family. We don't talk to our family members like this. We talk it out and we act civil. And she's like, Grandma started it. She said I was stupid. And she said, I'm fairly certain your grandmother did not mean that you were stupid, just that your behaviors are currently not being the smartest behaviors, and she was probably just saying that she was disappointed. But Mom, you have got to work things out with Carina. You guys have got to be better with one another. We are family, and family sticks together. So she's trying to make them get to where they are on better terms, because their relationship right now is circling the drain. And she's like, yeah, we'll work on our relationship, that's fine, but for now I'm gonna get going. Clearly some things have been said and the air just needs to cool for a bit. And so Grandma's leaving and Carina's like, you're not gonna be able to fix that. And she's like, hold it right there, young lady. You and me are having us a talk. And she's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I mean, you and I, we're having us a talk. You don't get to just get off scot-free after you think you're going to talk to my mother like that, and you're going to do the things that you did, and I'm going to bust you at supper. Let me tell you something right now. I am very, very disappointed in your behaviors. Very disappointed. And you are not going to continue acting like this. You are not going to do this. I'm not mad. I'm just very disappointed, but this will not happen again. Do you understand me? And she's like, well, Mom. And she's like, no, not well, Mom. This will not happen again, Carina. It will not happen again. And so Carina is the argument loser, and she is, still furious over the fact that she was the argument loser, but she is the argument loser in this one. Mom has won out on this one. So good going for you, Cassiopeia. We love it. And once again, she is questioning her future with Elias. Girl, stop questioning that future, because that future is over, okay? Just quit it. Just quit it. It is the next day, and they are just kind of having a little bit of a holiday. The children went ahead and went to school, but the parents have come over to visit, and they are all just kind of waiting around because Cassiopeia should be going into labor at any time, and everyone's just kind of like, well, when's the baby coming? When's the baby coming? And Zeke has gotten the whim that he wants to be engaged to Cassiopeia. So they both now have this whim that they want to be engaged, and they're just waiting and biding their time. They're both waiting for Elias to decide he wants to call things off and let that be a permanent break. But as I said, Elias is being stubborn, and he's just like, oh, yep, what's done is done, but he's not willing to let her go. So Tevin and Landon are going to invite some classmates over for this holiday, which is perfectly fine. These two are just having a little bit of a conversation because he's like, do you think that the baby's coming soon? And she's like, I do. I'm having contractions, but I don't think they're close enough yet. And he's like, okay, well, I am so excited because I can't wait to see our baby. And she's like, I can't wait to see our baby too. And he's like, oh, good. Oh, look, she's gone into labor, guys. So we are going to go ahead and head towards the hospital, which is super, super great. He is freaking out. He's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And she's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And he's like, oh my gosh. And she's like, honey, it'll be fine. And she's like, oh my, I love you so much. I'm glad we are soulmates. We will be together forever. She just told him he was her soulmate. Oh my God. In the middle of being in labor, imagine telling someone, oh, by the way, you're my soulmate. But she totally did that. So we kind of love that. Okay, Cassiopeia. Okay. All right. How about now you actually tell him that you're in labor, though? All right. So tell him that you're in labor, and let's go have our baby at the hospital. So we are going to head over to the hospital, and we are going to give birth to this babaloo. Alright, so we have arrived at the hospital here in Willow Creek, and it is time for us to go ahead and go get the doctor to give us our epidural. So let's go ahead, and where's she headed? Oh, she's like, I've got to go to the bathroom. Okay, you go to the bathroom first, and then we will get the doctor to give us an epidural. So she's going to go pee, and then we will come over here and ask the doctor for an epidural. She's like, I really got to go. I really got to go. Okay, come ask the doctor for an epidural, and then we will go ahead and get that taken care of. So she's like, hey dog, I am ready for my epidural if you don't mind. And he's like, yep, absolutely. Just give me just a moment. I'll gather the supplies and then I will meet you in the exam room and we will go ahead and we will get you all set up for that epidural. And she's like, okay, great. I will go ahead and get myself on the table and ready for you. And he's like, okay, great. So she's just going to go ahead and go in here and have a seat and we will get ourselves ready. He's like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you to turn around there. And if you'll just bend over and we are going to go ahead and give you this epidural now. She's like, oh, what a pinch. All right, and the epidural has been given and that was a success. So now that the epidural, she's so paranoid. So now that the epidural has been given, she can go ahead and go into the, oh, we're going to check your heart, make sure everything sounds good. We are going to go ahead and head her into the exam room so that she can go ahead and give birth to the baby. Okay, so she is just going in here to the to the delivery room and we are going to get her prepped for her surgery. And this doctor here is going to deliver the baby. So she's like, okay, doc, I'm ready. The doc's like, all right, here we go. Come on, Zeke. Oh, dang, he flew in there fast. All right, everyone is ready for this baby now. So let's begin. Right, and she is just waiting for the arrival of her precious little Babylaroo. And this baby will be here before you know it. And Zeke is like, okay, honey, you're doing great. The baby's almost here. And it's a girl. Cassiopeia just gave birth to a girl. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel. And this baby's name is going to be Carissa. Okay, so we have Carissa Langston. Let's go ahead and go back over to the game and we can give her her name here. So this baby's name is Carissa. Last name is Langston. All right. And here we go. Welcome to the world, Carissa. And we'll just grab us a couple of pictures here. Oh, they precious together, this little family. Look at him, he's like, oh, new boo. Oh. Okay, there we have it, folks. They have had their baby. And now let's go ahead and get everyone home so that she can take care of her baby. And we have arrived back at the house, and as you can see, there's a group of people here welcoming us, so thank you so much for that. I'm just going to go ahead and get her out of her gown here, and Zeke is like, honey, I love you so much. Thank you so much for giving birth to my beautiful little girl. She's like, oh my God. Thank you for loving me and for giving me this little girl. So they are just clearly very happy, but as much as we love seeing you guys, and we do, someone needs to go up here and feed this baby. So we are going to go in here and have her feed this baby, but I am going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you are notified when another episode goes live. And I will see you guys in the next one. But until then, I am going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.